3 reasons your crew has no accountability. Howdy, my name is Henry Chidgey and welcome to my Wednesday morning memo leadership videos. Have you ever avoided holding someone accountable because you didn't want to come across like a bad or mean boss? You saw the mistake. You knew the conversation needed to happen, but instead you stayed quiet. You let it slide. And then the same problem showed up again and again and again. Now you're frustrated. Nobody seems to take ownership.
He's not just a coach, he's a leader of leaders. With over 50 years of real-world experience, he's helped business owners double their profits, build leaders from within, and reclaim their time.
A mentor, an author, and a chief reinvention officer who's guided thousands to lead with clarity, confidence, and impact. Please welcome Henry Chidgey.
Here's what most leaders miss. Your crew doesn't have an accountability problem because they're lazy. They have an accountability problem because of 3 reasons you probably haven't considered. And today, I'm going to walk through every one of them with you. The 3 reasons. Reason number 1, you never made your expectations clear. Not really. They exist in your head, but not in theirs. Reason number 2, you don't follow up until something goes wrong. And by then, it's too late. And reason number 3, you've been using frustration and fear to get results, and it's trained your crew to hide problems instead of owning them. These 3 reasons are why your crew has no accountability, and none of them are the crew's fault. You now know that. They're leadership failures. And good news, they're fixable. Here's the good news. You don't have to choose between being too soft and too hard or too harsh. There's another option: clear, calm, consistent leadership. I call this the calm accountability system. Because accountability isn't about becoming feared. It's about creating clarity. And once you understand these 3 reasons your crew isn't taking ownership and how to fix each one, everything changes. Let's start with reason number 1. But before we dive in, if you would like help having difficult conversations with more confidence and less stress, I put together a free gift. It's called Get Calm, Clear Leadership in 14 Days Without Overthinking Every Hard Conversation. You can get it at go.henrychidgey.com. Now, reason number 1. Teaching point number 1. Reason number 1. You never made expectations clear. Most leaders think accountability means being tough, rigorous, calling people out, making sure everyone knows who made the mistake. That's not accountability. That's emotion. Your expectations are in fact a fantasy because they're clear to you and invisible to everyone else. This is the first step of what I call standards drift. People need to know what success looks like, what they're responsible for, when it's due, what standard they're expected to meet, and what lines are there that they know they cannot cross. You just don't do that in your company. Vague expectations create vague ownership, and vague ownership creates the exact accountability vacuum you're frustrated about. So let's talk about a success story. I worked with a supervisor who constantly complained that nobody followed through. Every week he was frustrated. Every week the same problems appeared. When we looked deeper, we discovered something surprising. His expectations existed almost entirely between his ears, in his head. The crew couldn't consistently meet standards they had never clearly been given or clearly understood. Once he became more specific, performance improved almost overnight, not because the crew changed, because the clarity changed. If you've ever found yourself frustrated because people should have known what to do, there's a good chance clarity is the missing piece. That's exactly why I created the free leadership gift, go.henrychidgey.com. It's a great book, and I think you'll get a lot of value out of it. Now let's talk about the second reason your crew has no accountability. Teaching point number 2. So reason number 2, you don't follow up until it's too late. Far too many leaders believe one conversation solves the problem. It doesn't, because accountability without follow-up is just a suggestion. Great leaders don't assume, they verify. They check. The second step of standards drift. They check early, before mistakes become expensive, before customers complain, before frustration builds. They stay engaged in the process, not because they don't trust people, but because they care about the outcome. Follow-up is not micromanagement. It is leadership. Example number 2 of a success story is I worked with a team that constantly missed deadlines. The leader believed motivation was the issue. Turned out it wasn't. Nobody was checking progress along the way. Everyone assumed things were on track, but nobody actually knew. Once simple follow-up checkpoints were introduced, ownership improved dramatically. The team became more reliable, not because people suddenly worked harder, but because leadership became more consistent. Now, teaching point number 3, reason number 3. You've been using fear instead of respect. Here's where accountability often goes wrong. Many leaders try to create accountability through fear, leverage, those kind of things. And fear does not create movement. For a little while maybe, but it also creates silence and resistance. People stop speaking up. They stop sharing problems. They stop thinking independently. They focus not on the job, they focus on avoiding trouble instead of producing results. Strong leaders take a different approach. They address problems directly, but respectfully. They correct behavior without attacking people. They focus on standards, not personalities, because respect creates engagement, creates ownership. Now I want to talk about the TRIP framework. This is where what I referred to as TRIP comes in. T for trust, R, respect for all, I, integrity, and P, purpose. Trust creates openness, respect for all keeps people engaged, integrity makes standards believable, and purpose gives people a reason to care. When those 4 things work together, next is enforce, the final step of the standards drift. Stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like protection. Protection of the standard, protection of the team, protection of the culture that you've built with the help of your people. A final call to action: if you've been trying to choose between being too soft and too harsh, remember this: there's another option. Clear, calm, consistent leadership. And that's exactly what accountability is supposed to look like. If you'd like help becoming the kind of leader people respect without becoming a fear-based boss, start with my free gift. Get calm, clear leadership in 14 days without overthinking every hard conversation. Go to the link below or type in go.henrychidgey.com. And if you'd like direct help with your leadership, your supervisors, or your team culture, book a free field-tested mentoring session at henrychidgey.com. It will be with me, not with anybody working for me. So remember this, accountability isn't about fear. It's not about yelling. It's not about being the toughest person on the job site. It's about clarity, clear expectation, clear ownership, clear follow through. That's what creates accountability. And that's what creates stronger teams. Because leadership isn't about controlling people. It's about creating clarity people can succeed inside of. Lead with trust, lead with respect, lead with integrity, and lead with purpose. Leadership does matter. Thank you for listening, and go out there and be the leader you're destined to be for yourself, for your family, for your people, and for your clients. Take care for now.